Styrofoam containers are relatively cheap and they keep food warm. Restaurants love them for takeout, but styrofoam creates tons of waste and poses risks to the environment. Solana Beach and Encinitas are poised to become the first cities in the county to ban the foam. Joining me to discuss the proposed bans are Roger Kube of the Surfrider Foundation and Steve Amster, owner of Garden State Bagels in Encinitas. Roger, let's start with you. Why should styrofoam be banned?
Thanks, Amita, first for having me on today. The Surfrider Foundation's mission is the protection of our oceans, waves, and beaches. So we're on the forefront of the pollution issue on our beaches and in our ocean. And typically, on average, each year, Surfrider Foundation and San Diego Coastkeeper volunteers in about 45 public beach cleanups pick up over 20,000 pieces of styrofoam off of our beaches. Styrofoam, actually it's polystyrene, is lightweight in its nature. So if we're picking up over 20,000 pieces of styrofoam on the beaches, you can imagine how much is actually entering our ocean. In addition to the environmental impact, there's also impact on marine life. There's also impact to our economy. And a recent study that came out actually about 5 days ago has evidenced that along with that plastic pollution is actually entering our food stream through fish. Approximately 25% of the fish that we eat in the state of California has either plastic pollution in those fish. So there's a human health concern, there's an economic concern, there's an environmental concern, and then also its impact on marine life.
Now, Steve, you're opposed to the ban. Why?
Because it's fully recyclable. If the city of Encinitas would provide more trash receptacles, people would use them and stuff wouldn't end up in the ocean.
But no, so Steve says it's fully recyclable, but I heard only large styrofoam is fully recyclable. Do you know differently?
So currently, so every waste management company is a little bit different in San Diego County. EDCO is Encinitas' waste management company. They do accept cleaned out polystyrene foodware containers. I spoke with the vice president of EDCO about this situation, and he told me that while they do accept them in the recycle bins, they prefer to not have them in the recycling stream, because what happens often, the majority of them have food still in those containers, and they immediately are discarded as opposed to recycled. He prefers the large block packaging recycled or packaging styrofoam that's used like when you buy a TV, for example.
Okay, so Steve, now I know that a lot of people in the food industry don't want styrofoam to be banned because it's cheaper to use. How much more expensive are the alternatives? Well,
the prices I got were about 3 times as much to replace them with other cardboard containers. And the other thing that wasn't mentioned was when you use paper cups, they're lined with wax, and the styrofoam will break down better in less time than paper cups, because and the other issue is we're not replacing trees in this country as fast as they're tearing them down to make paper plates and paper cups. So that's that's detrimental to our health by not having enough trees because they're tearing them down faster than they're growing them.
So Roger, what about this point that Steve is making?
Sure. I mean, there's a couple good points. The first point being the increase in cost to restaurants. We're certainly empathetic to that. We don't want a ban like this to run anyone out of business. Fortunately, about 80 jurisdictions in the state of California have already passed an ordinance like this, and evidence from those jurisdictions that have passed ordinances is demonstrating that businesses are not going out of business due to a polystyrene foodware ban. The other point on that is, ultimately, the expense to the environment, to our human health, to marine life, and to our economy as a result of disposable plastics like polystyrene is way greater than a minor increase in the cost of doing business, which can be passed along to the consumer. And certainly, again, the benefits of removing these type of products from circulation that do not compose, that do not decompose, that break down into smaller and smaller pieces, end up being mistaken as food for fish, that is a greater expense than a minor increase to the cost.
And we're going to close it there. Roger, Steve, thanks so much for coming on the program. The Encinitas Environmental Commission will discuss the proposed styrofoam ban at its next meeting on Thursday, October 8th at 5:30 at City Hall.